Welcome to Get Your Coins Sis podcast, the audio show designed exclusively for you. I'm Nell Latrice, your host and fellow mom on a mission to empower, inspire, and guide you on the path to financial independence. Tune in for expert advice, real life stories, and actionable tips to help you secure the bag and truly get your coins, sis. Because you deserve financial success and stability. Let's thrive together. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Get Your Coins Sis podcast. I am your host, Nell Latrice, and we are going where we dive into financial habits, faith, and real life events to help you build your legacy. And today we have a very special guest. Her name is Ashley Gooden-Ste, and she has a nonprofit. And I am going to give Ashley the stage to tell us a little bit about her nonprofit today.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Neil, for having me. The Baby Steward Foundation is a 501c3 that was founded in August of 2015. And the purpose of the organization was in honor of my son initially. However, I wanted to help families that just needed a leg up, families that were struggling, individuals that were in need of hygiene care, baby necessities, car seats, car seat safety, disaster relief, school supplies, bereavement support, you name it. We have put our feet to the pavement and actually help everyone in our local community in Galveston County. And then also we were able to help people across the world and internationally.
That is wonderful. I know, of course, this is good information for people who are first time moms, or even if you're not a first time mom, learn how to use a car seat. I think that that's like one of the biggest things that I've seen on social media when people post their kids that if they're in their car seat, their straps all messed up. And that'd be the first thing that somebody
Mhm.
mentions is car seat safety. And a lot of times, I really didn't know how to use the car seat straps at first either. Now I do, and then the forward facing and rear facing. So it is a
Right.
lot to learn when it comes to a car seat. So that is so good. I'm glad you're doing that. That's really, really good.
Thank you.
So we know that you started a nonprofit. So what obstacles do you face as a female founder?
As a female founder, it's a matter of trust within the community. A lot of times people come into the community, they start something really great, and when things don't work out or if it takes off really quickly, they're gone. They're going to the next city, and they're setting up shop there. So being able to build the community's trust, being able to let them see me and see the things that we do, inviting them inside of my life. Um, those are some of the ways that we were able to gain the trust of the community.
Yes, that's so true. I do believe that it's like you're either on one end of the spectrum or another end when it comes to starting any type of business that's community based too. Because I noticed, like you said, when you don't take off quick, it's kind of like, okay, where's this going? What's happening? I'm about to quit this. It's not
Right.
picking up as quick as I would like it to. And I had to learn that too, even with this business. I had to learn how to pivot to do something else because I know that I want to provide financial literacy within the community, but it's people not seeing it how I want them to see it. But I'm like, well, how can I pivot to do something else to get my message out there? And then I wanted to address, like you said, you take off quick. So when you take off quick, then all of a sudden they're gone. It's like,
Right.
moved on to a new set of people. Like, dang, we didn't even get to enjoy it in our own community, and you already done moved on to
Right.
something else. So that is so true. To stay encouraged when you start any kind of organization, nonprofit or for-profit business, that it's not going to always go how you expect it to. So that is so true. So what tips would you give someone who is wanting to start a nonprofit or a business of some sort and that's community based?
If someone is wanting to start a community-based business or a nonprofit, I would encourage them. to do the research. We have free resources out here in the community, or maybe you have to travel a little bit. Go to the certificate in nonprofit and leadership management classes. I took this certificate class. It was 18 months. It was in Austin Community College, and it was the most rewarding experience that I could have gave myself. Sure, I wanted to run a nonprofit. Yes, I took a couple of courses before in the past, but I need a refresher. I needed to have the whole experience in order to help people and not to just start it and flop. I wanted to be consistent with it and never stop learning. Like currently, I still go to workshops. I'm in classes. I'm in different groups. I'm at networking events, talking to different people that are also nonprofit leaders and executive directors and board members, to keep my knowledge base up and just making the connections.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's important to network. I think the biggest, I would say, roadblock that I had was trying to get to the right people so they can see your organization or your business. What would you suggest for someone looking to take those classes who don't know where to start? You know what I mean? You don't know where to start. You started this. It's hard to find classes or even funding. Where do
Mhm.
you suggest someone looks for those types of things?
My thing is I'm a big researcher, and the best tool for me has always been Google, or just talking. I just never knew that by me going to the workforce commission and speaking to one of the workers there and letting them know, look, I want to run a nonprofit organization. And then that's how I got linked with my mentor, which is Barry Silverberg. That's the one who helped me to start the 501(c)(3) and to do the paperwork. So it's just a matter of conversation, having these informational meetings. You might know someone at the chambers, or you might not know them at your local chambers. But maybe look at the directory. Hey, can I have an interest meeting with you? Send an email. Go in person, make a phone call. It's tons of scholarships out here for those certificate programs too. So I actually was one of the recipients of a scholarship for the certificate in nonprofit leadership and management. So
Congratulations.
always, thank you. So always advocate for yourself, speak up. No one knows if you don't say or communicate these needs.
Yes, that's so true. I just started getting involved with the chambers like around in my community. That was not on my list, but the chamber has been a big resource of information, connections. I just went to a chamber mixer last week actually and made some connections there. It's so important to get involved with the chamber. That's a really good tip that Ashley said, and that I want to reiterate is that get involved with your local chamber. Even the little suburbs have chambers. You can usually those are cheaper when you go to the little suburb chambers versus going to the bigger city chambers. But if you have the
Absolutely.
money to spend to go to the bigger city ones, I say do it because they can range anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 to be a member. So if you don't have that money, look in the suburb ones. I know I found one that was $200 for the year. You can find one $200 to $500. It's so important to get involved in those. And I also wanted you to give our listeners a little bit, some tips on how they could start a nonprofit. So, how did you get started with your nonprofit? Did you register first? Can you give us a few steps on how you completed that task?
Well, my mentor, he knew I was at a vulnerable place, so he kind of quizzed me on everything. If your budget is below 50,000, you know, is this the type of nonprofit organization you want to run? So that way, I had to file a different form on the IRS that was geared towards that. So that was the 1023 easy. And then also you people forget this critical stage that I have to mention, because I sat amongst everyone at this one meeting that we had before the pandemic, and it was governing boards. And it was an organization in Houston that helps a lot of nonprofits for free. So you have a lot of retired people and business people that just wants to help. Everyone was floored when the presenter had said you have to be incorporated by the state. So these are people that have ran their nonprofit organizations for over 20 years, and they weren't incorporated. They never knew. They only had the 501c3 status that was, given through the IRS. So upon learning that, people need to be knowledgeable that they need to be incorporated with their state that they're running their nonprofit in first. And it's not an expensive process at all to get incorporated. But you want to make sure you're incorporated first, then do your filing with the IRS.
Yes, that is important. I have a nonprofit also, and I actually did it on my own. So I took it as it was a learning curve. You're 100% correct. I know in Ohio, a LLC to start one is $100, but it's the same as a nonprofit. You literally, like you said, have to go to whatever your state's website is that where you will register your business, pay the filing fee. So that will be the first step. Would be to first pay the $100 for Ohio to be a nonprofit, and then, like you said, you go to the IRS because that's a difference between $300 of filing with the IRS or $600, or it's like
Yes,
675 or something like that.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So that would be your next step on starting a nonprofit. I took the $300 one, like you said, the easy, because you can be that way for the first 3 years if you make
Hmm.
under $50,000. So I
Right.
knew, I'm like, I know in the first 3 years I want to make under $50,000. So I chose to do the easy filing form. But that was $300. And then the third step after you file with the IRS, I had registered with the state as a nonprofit again. So they have a
Hmm.
specific website where you go to upload your articles of incorporation. So you do need those of like your bylaws.
Right, right.
Uh, yep, your bylaws. They have you upload like a number of things, but I would say it, like Ashley said, if you don't have a mentor for that would be great because there are a lot of steps in that process that you don't want to miss for sure.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't realize that the bylaws are important. You need to have your board members look over the bylaws, agree or disagree to the bylaws. That is the greatest way to not only protect you, but to protect your nonprofit organization. Everyone needs to know what their duties are. Everything needs to be clear and concise. And if you need help with that part, you can also go to United Way and utilize their services there, which is free.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that was a service. I actually use Rocket Lawyer. I think I paid like $1 for a trial and then I created my bylaws. But they kind of give you a template and I changed a few things in it. But I want people to remember that you can get thrown off of your own business's board. Like people don't know that, having a nonprofit, you have to choose wisely on who you put on your nonprofit board because if they are not the right people, they can come back and undercut you later and take you off and remove you from your own board and business. So
Absolutely.
it's important to have your business set up the correct way, or those types of things do happen. I've heard some horror stories, and I'm like, okay, well, let me make sure that my.
Yes.
So I want to give people this tip before I ask Ashley the next question. I have my nonprofit set up as it funnels through my main business. So anything that my LLC owns all of my nonprofit um, things, such as the card game, my financial literacy program. My business LLC owns that, and then I license it to the nonprofit to use. So that way, if someone was to come throw you off your board, they can't take all of your information with them because you
Mhm.
use your main business to license the information. So I do want people to remember that. And it is difficult to, navigate the process. So like Ashley said, make sure you get a good mentor to guide you through that process. So what do you enjoy most about running a nonprofit?
I, I love it. Like this is something that I dreamed about since a kid to help others, to be a resource to them, to be solution based. it just comes, it just flows so naturally. Like I have been in a position in many different jobs and roles, but nothing comes so easily and fulfilling than running my nonprofit. And I love to do outreach. I love to do disaster relief. Like I literally love to be amongst the people. Whatever situation they're in, I meet them where they're at. We are a mobile organization. Don't really care where you live, your background, or anything. If you tell me that you need something, I'm there. I'm at your doorsteps. I'm at your school. I'm at your job. Some of our clients have been in the streets. But the most enjoyable group that I work with is the unhoused population. That is my jam. I love them. They're so compassionate. They're so sharing. And even though they're in a position to where they can get more, they like, no, I'll go get this to my friend. My friend is in this situation. Let me grab this item for them, and I'm gonna make sure they are taken care of. Just so selfless.
Yes, yes, I love that community too. They are very, very selfless, because it's like they have nothing to lose. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like I think they just look at life from a different perspective for sure. And does your organization, so say if somebody lives states away, are you able to ship items or are you able to help someone who is not directly, you know what I mean, like in
hmm
your community?
We were in a position to ship all across the United States, and we have, but things have gotten very challenging over the past 4 years with the pandemic taking away a lot of our top donors, some of the partnerships that we had. So the funding and everything is just not there. However, we do have our baby steward, like our soldiers, that will take the items with them and they will ship it to Mexico or take it with them. They will take it to the Caribbeans, Pakistan, just different countries, even Africa. So we utilize these good stewards to help in that aspect.
Yes, to help carry out your mission. That's so good.
Yes.
And do you accept volunteers? So if someone wanted to volunteer, say from here, maybe help get some baby items out under your organization. Is that something that someone can do if they wanted to, or how would that look if someone wanted to volunteer to help your organization out?
If they're in another state.
Yeah, so like say if I
Okay.
if it was somebody here, I don't directly do that, you know what I mean? But I know
Mhm.
somebody who did and I was able am I able to volunteer under your organization like, hey, we get some items, maybe rally up something and I can give it on your behalf. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Oh,
how,
absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely. Because we want to keep the mission going. No matter if it's in Texas or, if it's in Oklahoma, Louisiana. But sometimes if we have the resources and we have the means, we'll go drive it down ourselves. But that's mainly for our disaster relief. Like we actually went to Jackson, Mississippi 2 years ago during the water crisis, and we gave out the water.
That's so good. So how do you so I heard you say that you had some challenges like during COVID, trying to get supplies or trying to coordinate helping people out. How do you stay motivated during those times when, it seems like resources are kind of scarce to help other people?
Honestly, during unforeseen circumstances such as the pandemic, I just have to change the mission. I have to be adaptable. So I know I had some supplies that I had been collecting before COVID had strike, and it was in 2019. Something just kept telling me around December, collect a lot of toilet paper, collect Clorox, collect hand sanitizer. So I'm collecting it. It's all stacked up in my office, and when that time came, that was our time. Like we saw how the elderly were being treated in the grocery stores and in Walmart, trying to get the supplies and the necessary needs, and people, they were just panic shopping. So we actively went out to the senior citizens. That's when we expanded our mission to them, to those that were homebound. into some of the pregnant ladies that maybe couldn't go shopping for themselves. And we rounded up these items and we put them in boxes and put them in little tote bags. And we made sure everyone had their essentials that they needed, you know.
Yeah, people were acting really, really crazy at the stores over this toilet paper. We were fighting
Yes.
over toilet paper and napkins. Like it was ridiculous. I think during then I had somebody deliver some toilet paper to me. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that
No.
over no toilet paper. And soon after they did too much for no reason because it
Right.
wasn't even a shortage. So now
No.
you got 20 packages of toilet paper that you really don't need right now that
Mm-mm.
somebody else could have bought because you done went crazy in the
Absolutely.
store. So we know that COVID had an effect on those things. How do you balance your personal life with your professional responsibilities? I know you said that right now all you're doing is your nonprofit, so
Right.
you can kind of take a hold of that. How do you balance those things?
Balance is often a struggle for me. I'm going to be honest because being that, I make myself so available to everyone, it's hard to cut it off like, okay, after 5 o'clock, this is it. I keep promising myself this is it. I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna go spend time with my kids, or, I'm gonna do something solely for myself. But no, here I am, still with the baby steward hat on, going out to the phone calls at 10 o'clock at night, a pregnant lady needing diapers, or someone is having a mental health crisis. I'm trying to talk them out of that, or someone is newly bereaved and having some issues and struggling through that. So right now, I spoke to my therapist. He was like, "You are not God. You don't know everything. You don't have unlimited resources. You are human. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your needs. So you have to start saying no." So as soon as I, find that balance and the boundaries, then the assertiveness will come. But it's still a challenge to kind of pour into me and my needs and make sure my cup is full. Because even with me going on trips, it's still work. I'm going to conferences. I still probably don't see, daylight. So it's a struggle. I'm still working on
Trying to
it.
figure it out. That's
Yeah.
important that you said that being assertive, puts those boundaries into place more. I had to learn that because, like you said, to say no. Because sometimes, no is a complete sentence, but
Right.
sometimes somebody asks me something I really don't want to do it, but I'll be like, no, kind of with a question mark behind it
Yes.
instead of making a period. Like, no. You know what I mean? And being assertive is very important when it comes to boundaries because
Hmm.
people typically don't question assertiveness. So if you're assertive with what you say, it leaves no wiggle room for them to still kind of step over those boundaries that you have.
Right.
So it's so important to have those in place. Like, hey, the cutoff time is this. No, I won't be doing this. But I kind of understand in your situation, you're helping other people, and your mission is to kind of, get out there in the community. So I
Right.
do understand how it could be hard to kind of balance those two between helping yourself and helping other people because that's what you like to do. So
Right.
it's so understandable. What are your future goals for the Baby Steward Foundation? So what do you see your foundation doing, and what type of goals have you set?
Honestly, I want to have a physical building where I can serve people from 8 to 5. I can meet the immediate needs. I can address them right then and there. Have a staff, have volunteers, have a vehicle to where we can do like our pickups for donations and maybe be mobilized maybe once a month, maybe park somewhere in certain cities or towns and actually unload and give people the direct needs. I want to have more mental health awareness, more discussions on grief, um, infant loss. October is actually, infant loss awareness month, and I go hard this month with my pink and blue and my statistics and everything. Those are the things that I want to do, and just have have parenting classes. Even have discussions on hygiene care. So long term, those are my goals, and then eventually have an after school program where kids can kind of drop in for a snack or a hot meal. So those are my dreams.
That's a really good idea. I think the mobile bus thing, or that's a really cute idea to have kind of like supplies on hand and kind of just go around and help people out. Because you can't always reach people through social media. Some people aren't on
Hmm.
social media,
True.
so it's good to be able to ride around and kind of get out there in the community and do those things. So what kind of advice could you give to aspiring entrepreneurs, especially women?
I want I want entrepreneurs to know, don't give up. You have these goals, you have these dreams, and don't let, the negativity, the naysayers, or even your bank account stop you from what you're needing to do. Write your plans out, make it clear. It doesn't have to all make sense right now, but you have to start. Once you start writing it out, it becomes your reality. Then you can start to figure out the legal ways to make this business or this nonprofit corporation legalized. But just one step at a time. Pick people brains, have conversations, and you don't have to tell a person all your dreams and goals, because honestly, I send people my business plans for something totally different than what I'm doing now. And I saw a few months later, it was a reality for them.
Yeah.
But what God gives you, it is for you. It is your purpose. Stand in your purpose, and you could do anything. You just have to believe and try.
Yes, yes, I do agree with that. I always stand by what God has for me is for me. If it didn't come to pass, it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? So I always keep that at the top of my brain that an opportunity for me won't miss me if it's for me.
Absolutely.
So that is really, really good advice. And I always tell people to get a mentor. I actually recently found a guy. He has been good to me as far as mentor, helping me with my business and things like that. And I always tell people that it's important to network with people you don't know because the biggest thing I have found is that those people have been willing to help me more than the people I've known
Hmm.
for years. Because asking somebody to listen to a podcast episode or just even rate the show or go like a thing or share a thing, it seems like a task for them. So I've
Right.
met people like you just out of the Cornell group, and we're all willing
Yes.
to rally together for each other's businesses, even though we don't know each other, to
Right.
have that good support. So I always tell people, get out, meet other people, talk to someone you don't know. And that's what I had the biggest, hardest time in is talking to people I don't know because I used to be scared of their response or,
Hmm.
how they will perceive me asking for help. And it's just like, what difference does it make?
Right.
What difference does it make? Either they're going to help me or they're not. If they're not,
Hmm.
you move on to the next person. There's always someone out there willing to be a help to you. So I want people
Absolutely.
to remember that. So, what is some words of encouragement that you can give our listeners, as far as business or who wants to start a nonprofit, or just in general on how they can get some coins together so they can start that nonprofit or just get out in the community and give back? What's some advice or some words of encouragement?
Well, some advice if you are a person that doesn't necessarily have all the money to get started, it's nothing wrong with doing crowdfunding.
Yes, it's a good
Nothing
one.
wrong with it. Just make sure you write out your mission statement, your vision statement, your goals, everything. Write it all out. Have a plan because people will question you on it. A lot of people don't like what a lot of charities represent because of things in the past, you know? So make sure if you want this to be a reality, don't get discouraged. Go ahead and do crowdfunding and they will help you.
Yes, I won't say I just learned about crowdfunding, but I just put it on my list of things to do is to crowdfund because I was like, I need some more funds for my business. I'm gonna have to cut this part out, Ashley. I think it's froze. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm not sure my
Okay.
camera. I kept getting a notification about my camera,
Yeah, I
and
think
I'm
it's.
not
I'm gonna just cut this part out.
sure.
It's kind of froze on my screen. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, perfect. There we go. Of course, I'm gonna just cut that out. Oh, so crowdfunding, that's where I was at. Yes, crowdfunding, that is a really, really good tip with the crowdfunding piece. I just started looking into crowdfunding because I'm like, where am I getting this money from? I've applied for a number of grants. I haven't seen those through. I mean, I got a couple, little, here and there, but I'm like, how am I going to get this funding for my business? And then I seen that it was like Kickstarter. It was a few other ones. If you Google crowdfunding, you'll be able to find some sites. But I've seen that those type of sites have funded millions of dollars worth of projects for people. So that is a really, really, really good tip. So, okay, so how can listeners connect with you? So, social
I
media, you
actually
have any
published a
books?
book 2 years ago, which is called "Growing Through Grief," and it's basically my personal experience with infant loss, and it also leads into the point of other different types of grief, divorce, loss of self, and it just helps so people understand, like, how can I support someone that's grieving, or how can I support myself? And that book can be found on Amazon, and if you like to, read through Kindle, it is an option for ebook. Um, I can also,
Oh, perfect. I'll be sure to link that too in the notes
and
for
you can
everybody
also
to
find Baby
purchase.
Stewart Foundation on Facebook, and you can find us on Instagram, the Baby
Ooh,
Stewart
perfect. So it's
Foundation
just a Baby Stewart
on
Foundation
Facebook, and then
on.
the Baby Stewart
Okay,
on
perfect, perfect.
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, great. I'll be sure to link all of those so you guys can stay connected to Ashley. Any one last thought that you want to leave our
Yes,
listeners off
just
with today?
be authentic, be yourself, be unapologetic, and just love yourself, because as entrepreneurs, as you know, Nell, and nonprofit leaders, we do a lot. We wear a lot of we wear a lot of hats. We are in a lot of roles, and we're always busy and productive, but we also can't lose ourselves. So we have to give ourselves that self-care and that self-love.
Yes, amen, amen. I am all for self-care now.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much for coming in today. I appreciate having you on the show. And thank you to our listeners for listening to another episode of Get Your Coins Sis podcast. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Get Your Coins Sis podcast. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and empowering. Remember, every step you take towards personal growth and financial literacy brings you closer to your goals. Stay connected with us on social media and share your thoughts and stories. Until next time, keep striving, keep believing, and keep trusting in God's plan for your life. Stay blessed and see you in the next episode.